The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to another
Sorry,
episode, right?
Yes, my screen went all blank. I got a call in. I didn't know what I was. Oh, okay. I'm back.
Welcome to another edition of Table Topics.
Yes. On this week of elections still.
You know what? 2020 couldn't get any crazier. We had an earthquake last week. Right over the weekend, couldn't get any crazier around here. I didn't feel it because I was actually in my car, but when I came home, my wife was like, "Did you feel the earthquake?" I'm like, "No, I didn't feel any of that." So I guess when you're in the car, you don't. But I did feel the earthquake a couple of years back up in Boston, and nobody else, only a few people felt it when I was up there working up there. So hey, I felt one so far, but
I did felt it, and no, not much the ground, but the picture on my wall was bouncing out of the wall. Not that I could see it, but I could hear like scratching on the wall. You know, that's the only thing I heard from that. But anyway,
see, our reaction here, Carlos, is that it's a truck going by, because when the trucks go by, sometimes the whole house shakes. You know.
That's exactly what we thought was, because we have a lot of trailers that still go to the Swan factory over there down on Stephen Street.
Yep.
And they sometimes, if they come by the bottom, we don't hear it. But if they come by the top and they pass on Jefferson Street, we can hear them.
You can
good.
feel.
So
yeah. So earthquake, election. What else? What else is going to happen, huh?
Well, I'm still not celebrating, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot to uncover. I think there's a lot to uncover.
Well, I mean, I have a couple of friends already texted me. One, was a coffee and a donut, so I guess this one was the first one. Carlos, I owe you a coffee and a donut, a coffee and a muffin. I said, okay, that would be the best coffee I ever tasted in 4 years.
God help us.
I know. I love to play with them, you know.
But it's not over yet, because you know there were a lot of inconsistencies. For example, not letting Republican folks in there to view what was going on, and there were actually videos on TV where they were kicking Republican poll viewers there out of the area. People were wearing Biden hats. The people counting were wearing Biden hats. That's a big no-no. You know, that doesn't show that you're partial or you're impartial.
Well, I never saw proof of that.
It's on video.
I never saw it. Yeah. I did heard and was wrong. Was one state, I don't want to call the wrong state, but it was a state that they went to court and they said no, they cannot be 6 feet away from them. They have to be like 80 feet away from them or whatever. And the reason they explained was because people were on people's faces, taping them, counting, and they were getting threats. And they have the first night they had security people bring them out to their cars. And this is people are volunteering. Carlos. They don't have to have people with the tapes, you know, and putting all over the media, all over Facebook, and all over, you know, because it's crazy people out there. They could come out after them.
But Carlos, all the stores were boarded up, right? All the stores were boarded up. Do you think that was from people that were for Trump, that anything was going to happen if he lost the election? Do you think that was those boards were put up because of Trump people? So
No.
I kind of lean toward anybody that tells me that someone from the right side is not being appropriate. I'm not going to deny there aren't people, but the majority of that is done by the left side. We see it. Why haven't we had, if it was the other way around, would we not have had riots and stuff? Would you think that because all the stores
I
were
cannot,
about it?
well, yes, but I cannot say it because, then went the other way.
Yeah.
We did had stores put it up in Fall River, and
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because of the result. If it was the other way around, it would have been an issue.
No, I mean was doing the Black Lives Matter parades or rallies or whatever.
This is all of it, Carlos. If it would have gone the other way, and we still don't know what's going to happen yet, because they're bringing a lot of these things to court. There, I guess in Pennsylvania, they said you can't accept anything after the election day, and we're accepting things 10 days later. You can't do that. What is you're just going to be bringing these bags? Where are these votes coming from? That's the other thing. Where are they coming from? They're not saying where have they been. Were they kept in another area?
They have to follow the law. What's the law there?
Oh, okay.
They have to follow the law. Every state has different laws.
Well,
what is the law in Pennsylvania?
Well, a Supreme Court, I think it's Alito, came out and said those votes that were cast after Election Day, they need to be separated. Okay. There are certain things you have to follow.
I think that's what they need to do it.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think what they're talking about, 30,000 votes.
I'm not.
I think that's the votes they're talking about, 30,000 votes.
I'm not. Yeah. Well,
the problem, what I see is this.
Okay.
He wants to recount states that have over 15, 20, 50,000 votes difference. Never happened before.
Yep.
But he wants to recount them. Okay. He has the right to request a recount them, even if he's too far away from the margin they're supposed to be recounting. They want to recount it. Let's recount them. The way I see it right now, and that's why everybody say this is not going to go nowhere, because he's claiming 3 states. Even if we gave him those 3 states, even if we give them, it's yours, take it. He still don't have 270 delegates.
Well, depending on what happens,
that's the problem.
All right, Carlos, let me, this whole thing about the president coming out or the vice president, the president-elect coming out. Do you remember back in 2000 what happened with Gore and Bush? Do you remember what happened there? It was one state, the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. Gore conceded, but then he came back and said, I'm going to fight this. Bush never said I was the president and never came out with the balloons and all this stuff because they knew there were issues there. Why did this president-elect come out here and say I'm the new president? And you know what? I want to, even people that didn't vote for me, I want to bring you in the tent. But then there are people saying that people that supported Trump or, that were Republicans, conservatives, I'm very disappointed in you that 71 million people voted for this man. That's a prior first lady that said this. She's very disappointed. Is that how you bring people together? Is that how you bring people together? What do you think?
Well,
is that how we bring? So basically, we're bringing back a person that was under this administration, the first lady that's saying that. So I just have a couple questions for you, and then we can move on to something else. So over under the last administration, can you give me any positives that were accomplished during that time period? Because I'm going to give you a time to think about it. So everybody was all over this president. So I'm going to just tell you what one magazine said. I'm sorry, the AP, the Associated Press, when basically he had the president got a peace treaty with Bahrain, UAE, Sudan, and then with Serbia and Kosovo. Peace treaties. Okay, never heard of another other than back in probably Bush's time, Bush number 1 or Clinton, where we had a peace treaty. Okay, the Associated Press writes. Now you're supposed to be impartial. Trump touts peace treaties where there was never a war. Is that how you're supposed to write things in the paper? So I'm just going to go over. So we have had no wars in the last 4 years. Okay.
Mhm.
We've had peace treaties with 5 different countries. We had the lowest unemployment rate for everybody in this country, including minorities. Okay. The real estate market was high. Consumer confidence was high. Everything was going good. So those are just some of the things. I can't remember a time in the past where we had those positives coming out. And you know what? If we're going to go back to those times that we had very little growth, hey, fine. I feel better that we're going to have the majority in the Senate will be Republican, because then that way we can't have all these crazy things come to play that they want to put in.
Well, let's start by the first one.
Yeah.
We never have a war. We have a big war.
Where?
Right inside of our country.
Oh, Carlos,
that's worse than any other countries. Because now we have Americans fighting Americans.
We had
Americans. We have families breaking. We have family members not talking to. But that's a war. To me, that's a war.
Carlos,
you are on this side and on that side.
Well,
that's number one.
They need to turn off CNN. That's number one. MSNBC.
If they're going to turn off a lot of things, the only thing that's going to be on is Fox News.
Well,
so
they can turn Fox News off as far as I'm concerned too.
So that's one thing. Another thing that he claimed that was a big victory for him was with North Korea. How are we standing with North Korea? He told Trump to go take a walk. I'm going to do my country what I want to. And I'm going to give up my weapons when I decided to. Well, that's now up to you.
Well, Carlos,
that's a big accomplishment that he did on North Korea.
Carlos,
nothing. He accomplished nothing.
Nothing's going on right now. If you remember, when this president got in 4 years ago, they were saying we're going to go to war. We're going to have a nuclear war. Trump's putting us into a nuclear war, and 20 million people are going to die. Remember that? That's what Obama said. That was his biggest regret, was North Korea. So he stopped a lot of this stuff. He stopped it.
To me, he's still going as stronger as he was before. Trump went there and meet him and walk and took a walk with him. South Korea, North Korea, whatever. It's still the same. He's still doing it, whatever he wants to.
He's not really doing it.
Didn't give up
before. He didn't give up. But I mean, the thing is, if you listen to the media,
but that's not what he said. That's not what he said. After he met with the man, he said, that's it. He's done. He's going to give up all. That's the meeting was for. Was for him to give up.
He never said that, though. He never said
so.
This takes time. The other people haven't done anything in 50 years.
How long do you want? 24 years? After the young son runs for president too?
Carlos.
That's 24 years?
Carlos, the person that is president-elect, his group hasn't done anything in over 42 years. So you know what? I'm willing to give somebody 6 years.
But let's keep going. How are we doing with France? How are we doing with Germany? How are we doing with the United Kingdom? How are we doing with all these countries? Okay, they don't laugh at us. You know who like us? The dictators. The dictators. All the countries that are dictators, it's the big friends of him. I'm his friend. I'm his friend. He's very proud to say that he's a friend with a dictator.
Who? What dictator?
That's what Trump says.
Which one?
Russia. Russia's one. I'm a big friend with him. He loves me. China, another one. Oh, he loves me. He writes me letters. He loves me.
Okay.
So we don't want to be friends with dictators, period.
Well, we were.
That's what's going to change. That's what's going to change again.
Oh, it's going to change again? When Hillary Clinton was in, she wanted a reset with the Russians. She actually went to Russia and said, we need to reset our whole negotiations with you. We want to start all over again. So let me just talk about Germany. Let me just talk about Germany. The reason why Germany's not really friendly with us is because we forced them to pay into NATO, which they weren't paying their fair share. So of course they're gonna if the next administration.
So let me ask you, those guys in taxes, that are putting potatoes on graves, okay, because they cannot sell it. You don't think that has nothing to do with those deals?
You're talking about, why isn't Germany paying their fair share? Why won't they? Why can't we make people pay
But
their
that's the
fair
thing
share?
this man don't understand. This Trump don't understand this. For him, if the money is live, if he sees the money on his hand, he's making.
Okay,
But
so what's
other
wrong
than
with that?
that, it's
What's wrong with that?
but what's
Why?
wrong with that is we are suffering. We have people. We have states that are killed. They're not doing nothing. They cannot export potatoes. They cannot do anything because guess what? Trump wants them to pay cash. Cash. I just want cash on my desk. That's the way he sees it. He's a businessman.
Carlos,
Listen, he's a
Carlos.
businessman, and I understand. I give him credit for that. That's how he runs business. But you cannot run a country the way you run your own business, that you can go to courts, okay, and sue them for every little thing that you don't like.
Why not?
Because you can. You can. That's why the other countries are laughing at us.
Oh,
Here he comes crying again. Go change your diaper, Trump. Go change your diaper.
Carlos, let me ask you a question. We're probably one of the fairest countries in this world. Would you think? We're one of the fairest countries in this world. So we've actually been a doormat at times. So I was talking to you. If I wanted to emigrate to a country in Europe, even if you have some kind of ancestral ties there, you have to know the language. Isn't that interesting?
I understand.
But
and I agreed with you. I already told you that.
No, I know. I'm just trying to say, though, my thing is that I'm tired of every other country saying we're so bad here when we let everybody in and we're good to everybody. After a while, we can't be a doormat. We can't pay for Germany, who is doing very well. Why aren't they paying their portion of NATO? We're protecting Germany, right? Mm-hmm. And then Germany goes over and they make a big deal with with Russia to get oil there and natural gas. They're so afraid of them, and Trump's so bad, but they did a backhand deal to get natural gas from Russia. Isn't that interesting, right? And Germany hates us.
And you know something?
Yeah.
Things can be twists and can be taken whatever people want and choose to. Okay?
I agree.
A big thing. I'm going to give you a perfect example.
Yes, sir.
During the debate, who built the cages? Who built the cages?
Yes, who did?
Okay, now I have a question for you that Joe Biden should ask him. Okay, we built the cages. Tell me how many kids we left them there by themselves, separate from the parent.
Well, Carlos, we don't know that.
No, answer me. How many kids we left them there by themselves, separate from the parent?
Carlos, do you think they're ever going to admit it? That was their policy. That was their policy.
I understand when they built the cages was to put people that illegally cross the border.
Correct.
I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
It's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is when you separate the kids from the parents, and now you cannot fund the parent. Well, that's what's wrong with it.
Well, Carlos, first of all right, so this was never a problem back in 2014. Now,
no, because we kept them all together. You're gonna send them back. You send them back, the whole family together. That's how you do it. Not just let's take the kids so we can get from the parents where we want to, okay, and send them back. And now we have all these kids. They were never fed the way they're being fed now. That's something that's something nice to say.
Do you realize a lot of those kids were sent? Or they went up with coyotes. They were used 4 or 5 times to get people in the country. Do you realize that? Parents had their kids go with these coyotes so they could get into the country. Is that good?
So you send them back with the coyote. The coyote brought the kids. The coyote knows the parents. You send the coyote back with the kids.
Oh, okay. Good job.
Period.
That sounds good.
I think.
So you're going to get mad at.
So now we're going to keep the kids. We're going to feed the kids. Okay. And now we are responsible for a kid that we don't even know.
Do you think the coyote's going to take a kid back? They just wanted to get here to get more money. They're not going to take a kid back. You think they're going to actually take a kid back to Guatemala? That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
But now,
why don't people get mad about the parents that let their kids go with coyotes? Why aren't they getting mad about that? Why not? We don't hear anybody get mad.
I just don't understand is what is the win, what the parents going to win staying behind and sending a kid, a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, to America with a coyote?
I have no idea. It's
What they going
on
to
tape.
win?
People have gone down there. It's on tape, and they admit that they've sent their kids there. You know what I mean? This is on.
I don't have the answer for that.
Well, but what I'm trying to say is, this is what I'm getting at. Like you said, there's, you look at one little thing, they portray one little thing this way. What about all the rest of the stuff? You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't want to, we need to get out of that because it's not, whatever. You know what I mean?
It's again, we talk. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody twist it the way they want to their side, to benefit their side. And it's been like this for years, and it's going to go like this. He's going to be perfect. No, he's not going to be perfect. I'm not expecting him to be perfect. Okay, what I expect him is to, number one, to have respect for people that work for him. Okay, and not fired just because he's not telling him what he wants to hear. Okay, that's bad, really bad. And this guy, since day one, you don't tell me what I want to hear. You don't change the way you talk to me the way I want. You fire.
Carlos,
Period.
well, you had people that were working there that said resist. Remember, resist. We need to resist this president. He's an illegitimate president. That's all you heard for years. So what do you? Well, if you're working in a place, you go in there, everybody's like, "I'm going to resist you. I don't like you. I'm going to resist." This is stuff that's out there. You know what I mean? So what do you expect people to do?
I never had the problem that not like where I work and had to quit, but I believe that some people don't feel comfortable. Some people prefer to leave, and this last one, he had write his resignation letter before the election, the day before the election, and I guess he found out, and after the election he let him go. You don't give the chance of the guy at least to say, I'm leaving on my own.
Who was that? Who are you talking about?
The guy that was just fired yesterday. What's his name?
He's the Esper. Yeah, Esper.
Yeah.
Well, Carlos, with the guy Esper, okay, I had seen he was doing was he was going before a committee and saying the opposite of what the administration was trying to put out there. So if you go against your boss and your boss tells you, Carlos, this is what our policy is, and you're like, no way, and you go to the head of the company that you're at and say, I'm not doing this, what do you expect? You know what I mean? You're in this job, you got to follow their policy. That's what this policy is. You know what I mean?
So we got the same. That happened 6 months ago when they stopped the guy from the Marine there. They stopped the ship somewhere and just let him out of the ship. You're fired. You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember
6 months
that.
ago? Because he didn't complain to the right boss. He went to the higher boss. And he got fired too. So it's.
I don't know. Hey.
Press secretaries. How many press secretaries that he changed?
Well, because the media tore them all up. They got tired.
But this one now, but this one, the blonde now,
she's great.
She's saying everything he wants. She goes above. She goes above what he tells her to do and to say. That's why she's still there.
I wish I was single and she was single because I love her. She's great. She knows how to handle herself. I wish she was single and I was single. And she marry her. She's the greatest.
Oh,
she's just the greatest, Carlos.
You sound just like him. You sound just like him. I wish my daughter was older, because guess what? I will date her. Boy.
That's not my daughter. But I mean,
thank God for that. But
Carlos, I don't want to go any further when we're talking about stuff like this. Because there's a computer out there. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. You can Google one thing and you're going to find 5 different versions.
Yes.
Of what you're looking for.
Okay.
And now you have to make up your mind. You take this one from here, this one from here, this one from here, and you try to make up your mind. Now, what's going to take for him to come
Concede.
out and concede?
Well, I think, like I told you, when we first started with this, during 2000, when Bush and Gore were in there, Gore brought this to court, and he didn't concede until December. So, now the DOJ is looking at this because they got numerous allegations of inappropriate actions. So they're going to look at this stuff. Let them investigate it. If there's nothing there, then there's nothing there. But if there's something there, you gotta come out. I mean, if you look before the election, thousands upon thousands of people were going to see the current president. Thousands. Okay. And then you had the other candidate where he could barely get 20 or 30 people to show up at something. So you had the most amount of people ever vote for an incumbent president, 71 million. Okay. But the other candidate who barely came out and did anything got more than this current president. It's
right there.
It's hard to believe.
But you can believe it because the side that there was nobody there is people that trust in science and people that believe science, and they don't want to just to go there and just say, and dance with Donald Trump.
Okay.
So Donald Trump did all those rallies. Those people, it's just for show off. I mean, they do this in Somerset. They go in Somerset just to show off. Okay. It was a week ago. Elections was a week ago. People still doing rallies for Trump. That's it. Elections, it's done. Now we're going to count the votes.
Well,
campaigning, it's done. Campaigning, it's done. These people love to show off. They love to show their cars. They love to show their boats. They love to show their motorcycles. Okay, they just want parades. They love that. Good for them. They have to show.
That's America.
But guess what? In one car, you have 3 kids on the seat on the back seat. Okay, and you have 2 people on the front. Guess what? From those, you probably have 1 vote.
Okay. Okay.
So signs and motorcycles and cars and boats don't vote. People vote. Okay? People vote. And guess what? He called that people losers. Guess what? They came out in Trump.
Well, Biden called people chumps. And he told people to shut up. Biden called people chumps during his rally.
So if I tell you to
30 people.
If I tell you to shut up, you're going to be mad at me?
No, but Biden did that. But Biden called people chumps. Those Trump supporters over there are chumps. Goes both ways, like you said.
Like he called him a clown too. And
he called him a clown. But who said stupid people? Who said that? Who said stupid people?
What do you mean? I don't know.
You said.
Who said stupid people? I didn't call nobody stupid.
No, you said that that Trump called people stupid and losers. Losers. Who? Who did he call losers? You mean vets that
people?
Vets?
I'm not gonna go to the cemeteries because they're full of losers.
Carlos.
That's what he said.
You need to do research on that. That's not true. Does this, Carlos? Let me just say one thing. Does it make sense that the president that has given the most to the military in funding, fought by the Democrats nonstop, would call military people losers? Does that make any sense?
Why do you think that he didn't visit? Because he
didn't visit because they advised them not to because of the weather. And he didn't want to close down the roads in Paris because God knows if he would have closed all the roads down to go there, this media would have like, look, he closed down the whole city of Paris to go see that house.
Was the first time that was done? That an American president went there and wanted to visit that place?
I mean, but what I'm trying to say is if they tell you can't go there because it's dangerous and they don't want to crash planes, you can't drive there because you're going to close the whole city down. Come on.
Hey, come on. Guess what? I just noticed Steve keeps sending messages.
Oh, okay. All right.
I hope you didn't win over the time, but
Yeah,
guess what?
we're almost there. All right.
I'll see you next week.
Take it easy.